Okay, if I bring back my reference image, you can see here that there's this area where the disc tray goes, a button over here, and some other elements like the headphone jacks, microphone jack, some USB plugs, etc., etc. We're going to create the area here where all this stuff is going to go. Alright, so to create that area, we're going to do it off of this piece of geometry that we already have. And this is how we're going to do it. Let me just open up my front view here. I'm going to go to edge mode. I'm going to select all of the edges right here across the middle of this object. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the quad menu. I'm going to go to the connect options here. Make sure your segments is set to 1 and everything else looks like it's good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit the check mark over here, hit OK, and I'm going to place this edge somewhere down here. There's a little bit of perspective distortion here with the with this image, so I'm going to put this about maybe right here is pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these edges again, and I'm going to connect this again. Okay, but this time we have a problem. If I zoom in, you can see that the edges don't go straight. We have a little bit of an angle on the edges there on the outside right there. The reason is because the top edges here also have an angle. So to fix this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of the align tools. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use the align tools up here in the modeling ribbon. With those edges selected, I'll go to the little align menu over here. We have a few different options. Over here we have an X, Y, and Z. This allows us to do an align to any one of those different axes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the Z axis to flatten them out top to bottom or in the Z axis. So once that gets flattened out, if I look at this from the right side view, you can see that the edges are perfectly straight and flattened out. So let me go back to the front view over here. And I'm going to move this up to about maybe right there. Looks pretty good. I pretty much have my polygons ready to go. And those polygons are going to be where this, basically this gap or this hole, this detail area is going to go. So I'm going to go to polygon mode. I'm going to select these polygons in here. Now I'm going to go quickly to my perspective view and make sure that I have the correct polygon selected. And it looks like I do. I'm going to turn the grid off right there. So if these polygons selected, I'm going to go back to my front view. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to the inset tool here in the quad menu. I'm going to go to the options. And basically I'm going to use the inset amount here to interactively just drag this and slide this around to create myself a nice little inset, something like this. So I'm going to go for about 3.5, 3.5 right there. And when I'm happy with that, I'll just hit the check mark, OK. Alright, so if I go here to my perspective, you can see what I have. Now if this selected, go back to the quad menu, and we're going to go to Extrude. And I'm going to extrude this in about something like this. About -4 point something, -5, something like that. Looks pretty good. Okay. Now, once that's done, I'm going to flatten this out. We want to make sure the polygons are selected and hit OK. If we hit OK, it finalizes the extrusion there. So I'll go to the align tool over here, hit Y, and that flattens that out, makes it perfect. Okay, so it's flattened out, it's good to go. So that's going to do it for this video. In the next video, we're going to see how to start to add detail to that area and make it look more realistic.